If you are a veteran in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, or you are the surviving spouse of a veteran who served this country, what I am about to share could directly affect money that is already owed to you, and there is a decent chance you have been waiting far longer than you should have. The Department of Veterans Affairs just crossed a threshold we have not seen before, and it means the clock may finally be working in your favor instead of against you. In the next few minutes, I want to walk you through exactly what record the VA just set, why it matters specifically for retirees who thought their window had closed, and one counterintuitive mistake I see far too many people make that actually slows their claim down even in this faster environment. The VA announced that it processed more than 2 million disability benefits claims by June 1st of this year, hitting that mark faster than ever before in the department's history. To put that in perspective, the previous record was set just last year when the agency reached 2 million in late June. So we are talking about shaving weeks off an already unprecedented pace. The average time to complete a decision has fallen from about 141 days at the start of last year to roughly 79 days as of late May. That is nearly half the wait time gone, and it is happening while the agency is processing more claims, not fewer. In fact, fiscal year 25 ended with more than 3 million claims completed, the most in history, and 26 is on track to match or beat that. A significant portion of the claims moving through the system right now are from the PACT Act, which expanded benefits for veterans exposed to burn pits, Agent Orange, and other toxic substances. Many of those veterans are in their 60s and 70s today. Some are in their 80s. If you served in Vietnam, the Gulf War, or even certain stateside locations where chemicals were used or stored, and you have developed respiratory illness, certain cancers, Parkinson's, or other conditions that have been presumptively linked to service, you may be eligible for disability compensation even if you were denied years ago. The rules changed, and the speed of processing changed right along with them. There is this persistent belief that if you are already receiving Social Security retirement benefits, the VA will somehow reduce your disability pay, or that the two programs cancel each other out. That is not true. VA disability compensation and Social Security retirement are completely separate programs with separate eligibility rules. Receiving one does not reduce the other. In fact, for many retirees, VA disability compensation is tax-free income that stacks on top of whatever you are already getting from Social Security, a pension, or your own savings. If you have been avoiding filing because you assumed it was pointless at your age, that assumption may have cost you years of benefits you were entitled to receive. The VA has a national work queue system, which means your claim can be reviewed by a rater anywhere in the country, not just at the regional office near your home. That is one reason the processing times have become more uniform. But the people seeing the biggest improvement are not necessarily the ones in low population states with small backlogs. They are the ones who file what is called a fully developed claim. When you submit all your medical evidence, service records, and supporting documentation up front, the VA does not have to spend months hunting down records from private doctors or military archives. A complete claim can move from submission to decision in a matter of weeks, rather than months. If you have been sitting on a folder of medical records because you thought the VA would just gather everything for you, that is the single biggest delay you can control. If you are finding this helpful and you want to stay informed on the financial topics that matter most to retirees, I would appreciate it if you would hit the like button and subscribe. I do my best to cut through the noise and bring you straight talk on benefits, taxes, and retirement planning without the hype. And your support helps me keep reaching people who need this information. The VA has also dramatically reduced processing times for dependency and indemnity compensation claims, which are the benefits paid to surviving spouses of veterans who died from service-connected conditions. The average time to complete a DIC claim has dropped from 163 days to 73 days, a decline of more than half. If your husband or wife passed away due to a condition linked to their military service, and you were told the process takes forever, the landscape has shifted. There are also pension benefits for low-income surviving spouses that are moving faster now, with the average initial survivor's pension claim dropping from 172 days to 73 days. These are not theoretical improvements. These are real checks getting to real people faster. While speed has increased, quality control has shown some cracks under the pressure. The VA Office of Inspector General found that a significant percentage of PACT Act claims contained errors, and nearly half of denied PACT Act claims for new service-connected disabilities had mistakes in them. That means some veterans are getting incorrect denials or wrong ratings, not because they do not qualify, but because the system is moving so fast that details are getting missed. If you receive a decision that seems wrong, do not assume the VA got it right just because they got it fast. You have appeal rights, including a higher-level review where a senior rater looks at your case, or a supplemental claim if you have new evidence. The window to appeal matters, so read that decision letter carefully and mark your calendar. Let me share a practical scenario so you can see how this might play out in real life. Imagine a 72-year-old Army veteran named Frank, who served in Vietnam and developed type 2 diabetes and peripheral neuropathy decades later. He never filed a claim because he assumed his symptoms were just part of getting older, and he heard the VA backlog was 2 years long anyway. But under the PACT Act and related presumptive conditions, his diabetes and neuropathy may be automatically connected to Agent Orange exposure. Frank files a fully developed claim with his medical records and a copy of his DD-214. Instead of waiting 14 months like he would have a few years ago, he gets a decision in under 3 months. Because he is married, his combined rating could mean tax-free monthly compensation that also makes his wife eligible for additional benefits if he passes away. The difference between filing and not filing is not just a monthly check. It is financial protection for his family. If you are a veteran over 65 and you are struggling with the cost of long-term care, whether that is in-home assistance or a facility, your VA disability rating can open doors to additional programs like aid and attendance, which provides extra monthly pension money on top of your other benefits. But here is the catch. You cannot receive both full VA disability compensation and a VA pension at the same time. The VA will pay whichever benefit is greater. Many retirees do not realize they can switch from one to the other if their circumstances change. For example, if you were receiving a small disability payment for a hearing loss rating but now you need extensive daily care, you might actually be better off with the pension plus aid and attendance, which could pay significantly more. It is not an either-or decision for life. You can ask the VA to evaluate which benefit pays you more based on your current needs. If you are the surviving spouse of a veteran and you remarried after age 57, you may still be eligible for DIC benefits. Most people assume remarriage ends all survivor benefits, but Congress carved out an exception. If you remarried on or after January 5, 2021, and you were at least 57 years old at the time, your eligibility for DIC can continue. Even if you remarried before that date, there are other exceptions depending on when the remarriage occurred and whether it has since ended. I cannot tell you how many surviving spouses I have spoken with who left tens of thousands of dollars on the table because they assumed a second marriage disqualified them forever. That is simply not the case, and the faster processing times mean you could get an answer on this relatively quickly if you apply. There is no statute of limitations on filing a VA disability claim. You can file 30, 40, or 50 years after your discharge. The only limitation is on back pay, which typically goes back to the date you filed your claim, not the date your condition began. So if you have been telling yourself it is too late, it is not. The only thing waiting does is reduce the amount of retroactive pay you might otherwise receive. With the VA now processing claims faster than ever, the cost of delay is not just the monthly check you are missing today. It is the back pay you are not accumulating while the decision sits in the queue. The VA has proven it can move fast when the claim is complete and the evidence is clear. That means the biggest variable in your timeline is no longer the federal government. It is you. The retirees and surviving spouses who get their decisions fastest are the ones who treat their initial filing like a court case, not a casual request. They gather their service records, their medical history, their marriage certificates, and their doctor's notes before they ever click Submit. They do not wait for the VA to go hunting. If you are a veteran or surviving spouse who has even a suspicion that you might qualify for benefits, go to your filing cabinet, your desk drawer, or that shoebox in the closet where you keep the important papers. Pull out your DD-214, your marriage certificate if applicable, and the last few years of medical records related to the condition you believe is connected to service. Then go to va.gov and start an intent to file. That simple step locks in your effective date for back pay while you gather the rest of your paperwork. You do not need to submit everything today. You just need to start the clock. I know dealing with government benefits can feel overwhelming, especially when you have been burned by slow systems before. But the data is clear. The VA is processing claims at record speed with record accuracy, and the backlog is the lowest it has been in years. If you have earned these benefits through service or through the sacrifice of a spouse who served, you deserve to have them in your hands, not sitting in a queue. Take that first step today. I will be here with more straight talk on the financial issues that affect your retirement, and I am rooting for you to get every dollar you have coming. Take care.